Hello, I think we are live. Hey everyone, just gonna wait for a few more people to join here. But in the meantime, I have Pepper here, creating a ruckus as always. I feel like she loves waking me up at like 5 a.m. or something, and creating havoc wherever she goes. And now she won't sit still, you know, as is often the case. But oh, all right, Pepper. I need to do this live stream now. I need to do this live stream. Okay, Pepper. All right. She's the best, but she's also the most rambunctious cat I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if you all can see these panels behind me, these acoustic panels. They're supposed to block out the sound, but for some reason, the cat thinks that it's meant for her to run up and down. So that gives you an idea of how she uh how she likes to create havoc wherever she goes. It's so nice to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you hanging out with me on a Sunday. I don't know what time it is for you all, but it's 9 a.m. here, so I got my coffee all set. Got to get caffeinated in the mornings, you know. Um, how are you all doing? I'm gonna just go through some of these comments now. Let me see here. Thanks for all the birthday message, y'all. Sorry, this browser sometimes gives me problems. Hell yeah. Brunch is always a good thing. I always say brunch at any time of day, personally. Hey, I Samwise, thank you so much. Good to see you. I'm sorry if I'm missing some comments here, you all. This browser is giving me a little issue, but let me just scroll up a little bit. Are you all drinking coffee like me? What time is it over there? Let's see. Whereabouts are you all streaming from? Hey, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Amethyst, great to see you. Ah, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting. Like some of you are in the UK, I think, right? If it's 8 hours difference from here. But that's the one thing I really love about BookTube is we all kind of start off loving books and finding out that there's not that many people in our immediate vicinity that read as much as we do, and then we find each other and we develop real friendships on here. So it's a testament to how great this community is. So and you all are a very integral part of that. So it's really awesome. Um, let's see, Francois, good to see you. No coffee this evening. Yeah, probably for the best. I know for me, if I have coffee anytime after basically 5 p.m., I'm done for. I have trouble sleeping as it is because I always have so much energy and I always get a second wind at night. So coffee is definitely a no-go at that time. I know I've missed some comments. If I've missed some comments, please feel free to write again. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I apologize. I'm just scrolling back up here. Eating quesadillas and drinking coffee. That is a great combination. Great to see you, Leah. 9 a.m. here in Vancouver too. Nice. I was just in Vancouver last summer actually with on a friend's trip. I freaking love that city. It's amazing. Let's see here. I know I probably missed some, but I apologize. Hey, it's my mother-in-law, Terry. Hey. They're going out for lunch with Eli and Connor. Eli is Linda's brother, my wife's brother. And hope you all have a wonderful day. Missing you all. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. I gotta say the Wheel of Time community is like one of my favorite communities of all time. I still remember in 2019 when I discovered the books, and I just didn't know what to expect because I hadn't read too much fantasy before that. I'd read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and I'd read Harry Potter. But Harry Potter I didn't even think of as fantasy, if that makes sense. When I was reading it, I was just like, "Oh, this is a really cool story." The Dark Tower is such a mashup, you almost can't consider it pure fantasy, right? And Wheel of Time was like the first real fantasy series I got into, and I just fell in love with it. And then I realized, "Oh my god, there's so many people to talk to about it." And then the whole music thing, getting to work on the show. So it's been an amazing 6 years of getting to meet fans of the books, fellow fans from all over the world. And the Dusty Wheel is a big part of that. If you don't all know, the Dusty Wheel is a fantastic Wheel of Time dedicated fan channel that it was official kind of for breaking news on the show when it was running, and having the actors and showrunner that were very plugged in. So fantastic channel. Matt really does good work there. But yeah, I just figured we could all hang for a little while, and I don't know, like maybe make it like an AMA or something like that. I don't know if that's of interest to you all, but if you all have any questions for me, or if whether they're book related, about my work on the show, about music in general, about whatever, I'm in for the long haul. So I'm just excited to hang with you all. Oh, Indonesia. Nice. Oh, thanks so much for joining so late in the evening for you. I really appreciate you being here. I'm just reading up on the messages. Hey, my long-haired brother. Thank you so much. Jake is a fantastic channel as well, Nerd Level Rising, if you haven't checked it out. We're doing a bunch of reads together. We're reading oh, I have to show you all, because I've made it a point that I'm going to scream this from the rooftop anytime anything about books comes up, because this has become a new love of mine, and it's The Heaven Tree by Edith Pargeter. This was recommended actually by Jenny Wirtz, the amazing legendary fantasy author of The Wars of Light and Shadow and a bunch of other series. And she was like, "Hey, I'll read along with you guys." So we've been having a blast reading through this trilogy, and it's almost like the traditional fantasy underpinnings of someone like Jenny Wirtz or Guy Gabriel Kay, very artistic prose and all that. But then it's got like John Steinbeck type characterizations. So we've been having a blast with it, and it's like very unknown. I don't know. It's like sometimes these things just slip under the radar, and I think BookTube is a perfect platform for giving, not only having discussions obviously about books that we all love, but also about stuff that should deserve more attention, that somehow they slip through the cracks. Like I think about, Christopher Rocchio, who wrote the Sun Eater series. And, he had written about 3 books, and it was in danger of not being published further than that, because it just wasn't catching on at that time. And then, of course, BookTube got their hands on it, and it just blew up. Mike's Book Reviews was the first to talk about it. Then I think it was Patrick Leo, Daniel Green, and so on and so forth. So I do feel that this community allows for, hey, let's elevate the authors that are really writing great work that deserve more attention. So this is one of them. If you don't know, it's like historical fiction. It's kind of similar to like a Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth, but it takes place around 1200, the year 1200. It's about building a church at that time, but what if it was from an artist perspective rather than from like an engineer's perspective or something. So you really get to see the artistry and like the creative process in this. So pretty cool, I gotta say. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely give it a go. And they're actually short books. They're like that whole one that I just showed you was 900 pages, but it's all 3 books in one omnibus volume. So no chonkers here, just great writing. Um, just scrolling down here, seeing if I can find more Sun Eater is fantastic. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you all have read it, but the pitch for it kind of would be it's set 20,000 years in humankind's future, and it's like, what if an Anakin Skywalker type character becoming a Darth Vader type character was for the good of the universe, and seeing this person relay their story. Unreliable narrator possibly, incredibly complex like character work. It's fascinating, and the final book is coming out. So for all you completionists who don't want to start a series until it's finished, then this is a good way to kind of get started, because the final book will be out in November. I think mid-November or so. Oh, Tigana. Yes, that's a book I really want to read. Would you all say so? I don't know if you all have read a ton of GGK, but I've read only the Lines of Al Rasan so far, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and I was excited to read the next entry. I was thinking of Tigana because I have a great hardcover on my shelf, but I was wondering, are there any better places to do my continue on my GGK journey? Let me know. I would love to know from you all, because you know better than I do, and I am very grateful for any help on that front. Absolutely. Oops. This thing, this scrolling on this phone is probably not my brightest moment. I'm definitely going to try to do this a little bit better next time. Let's see. Nikhil, have you read Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss or The First Binding by R.R. Verdi? I've heard both of them are very music focused. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. And for those of you who don't know, by the way, iSamwise is a fantastic channel. Definitely check it out. Like, I love his discussions about books and how he goes really deep into the philosophical aspects, and really intelligent discussions around that stuff. But yeah, I read Name of the Wind, and I've actually read like a third of The First Binding. This is a hot take. I know. I'm sorry. I apologize to all of you Name of the Wind fans. It's just never really grabbed me that much, and I love the music ideas in it. The only thing is, I didn't connect to Kavoth, the character. And then when I read the first binding, I noticed that there were a lot of similarities between that and Name of the Wind, and to the point where even the way it starts was like almost a carbon copy of it, and the character arc and kind of where they end up. And not to take anything away from R.R. Verdi, but it was a little too close to it, where almost felt like I was reading a different incarnation of the same book. Of course, the magic system is different and stuff, but there were a lot of similarities in it, and I kind of ended up DNFing it. I don't know. Did you all finish? Did anyone finish that? And I think there's another book, Doors of Midnight, if I remember correctly, but haven't read that one either, so I'm not really sure about that. But yeah. Another really good series. Speaking of Jenny Wirtz, another really good series that kind of highlights music really well is Jenny Wirtz's Wars of Light and Shadow 11 book epic. Not only is the character, one of the characters, kind of a musician prodigy, but also music ends up being a part, or like, I guess you could say musical frequencies end up being a part of the magic system as well. So fascinating stuff. And Jenny is like an artist when it comes to writing, and so she really respects the creative process, and she understands it in a way that few do. And so, even if and she's a musician as well, by the way. She plays the bagpipes, and she's entered in competitions and stuff. So um she speaks from both a musical knowledge, but then also, um what should I say, like, kind of a knowledge of the process, if that makes sense. So really cool stuff. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Ah, have you read The Devils? So I know this is a hot take, and I will continue it. I stopped it around the 50% mark, only because. So I don't know if you've read it, The Devils, in its entirety yet. I liked certain aspects of it. I did like the ragtag team. I love Joe Abercrombie's humor in general. I think, in the First Law series, I felt like it balanced the humor with the darkness and the kind of very deep philosophical ideas really well. I felt like The Devils was almost written like a screenplay, And you know that movie, Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of humor where it's like banter that's just back and forth, and it works really good on the screen. Like I actually really enjoyed that movie. On the page, I was kind of hoping there would be just a little less humor and a bit more of like the characterization and stuff. I almost felt like the jokes took away from the story or the stakes at times, and I just kind of found that a little bit difficult to contend with. I don't know. I'm a Joe Abercrombie fan, so it was. I'll probably pick it up again. Maybe I just was looking for something else at the time. Isn't it funny how that happens where you have a certain expectation and you go into it. I'm usually good at tempering my expectations when I go into anything, but this one I think I was looking for something slightly different. But it was well written, as Joe Abercrombie's always wanted to do, and the characters were very distinct as well. So I don't know if you've read it yet, but that was my thoughts on it as well. Um, Let's see. Jake says, Joanna has told me Song for Arbonne is amazing. Yes, that's right. That's the other one. I believe that one also has music or like troubadours or something as a mainstay in that book. And for those of you who haven't read GGK, he's very good at doing kind of one-offs. He has a couple of like duologies and things like that. And there's some books that are connected, but from what I understand, he is like the king of fantasy standalones. Well, of which there's not too many who make that a mainstay, right? So let's see. Hey, Mac, good to see you. Yeah, Guy Gavriel K has a bunch of art and culture in them. Same with Song for Arbonne. That's definitely one I want to check out at some point for sure. I love the name of the wind so far. That's really great. It worked for you. I'm so glad to hear that. Honestly, I wish it worked more for me because I always feel like I want to enjoy the stuff I read, right? Like you go in with the best of expectations. That's how I feel with this stuff. I never want to hate on a book or anything like that. And I don't think I would say I hate on Name of the Wind at all, but it just didn't resonate with me in the same way I was kind of hoping. In fact, the Sun Eater kind of had what I loved about the Name of the Wind, but it had the deep characterization and exploration that I was kind of craving. So it kind of had a little bit of best of both worlds for me. I know it's not really a comparison per se, but the writing, the prose is beautiful, and the person, unreliable narrator reflecting back on their life, and those kinds of things are similar, I guess, about the two. But I'm really glad you're loving Name of the Wind so far. Rain and Ruidian. I love the name, by the way. Rain and Ruidian. Awesome. For those of you who don't know, Wheel of Time reference right there. Yeah, that's kind of what I felt, honestly. Name of the Wind, similar to First Binding. First Binding was like I could probably think of a bunch of different references that were like almost one to one similar. So it would just ended up not being for me. I don't know if any of you have read that, but I would love to know from you if you felt the same or if you think I'm tripping. What I loved about the Name of the Wind is the fact there's always an act of kindness behind the bleak moments. That's fair. That is very true, actually. I love authors who can balance the dark and the light. The Wheel of Time is Robert Jordan's really good at that as well. Not necessarily the kindness behind the bleak moments, but more of the haughty humor. Behind the bleak moments. Like the juxtaposition's always really cool, I think. I hear many are more like historical fiction and less fantasy. I look for magic. That's a fair point too. Yeah, there are a lot of, I think of GGK's books are very historical leaning with some fantasy elements, I guess, very light fantasy elements. Um I think about what's it called? The Dark Tower. Yeah, that's a good example without a hard magic system. First law, no hard magic system, right? So there are series that are a little lighter on the magic. Brandon Sanderson's on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think, where he really organizes his magic and centers a lot of stuff around that. um let's see. That's fair. Yeah, I'll be curious. I Samwise, if you get a chance to check it out, I would love to hear what you think of the differences between them, if there are some to be found. I haven't found too many myself, to be honest. But yeah, just scrolling down a bit here. I adored the Devil's Viga forever. That's a fair. Viga is definitely my favorite character, I would say. And what was the priest's name as well? God, I'm not gonna remember now. But he was also very interesting. But yeah, Viga forever for sure. Oops. Uh, just scrolling down, you all. Um, let's see here. Have you all read The Raven Scholar? It's excellent. I haven't read or heard of The Raven Scholar actually. What kind of fantasy? I assume it's fantasy. What kind of fantasy is it? Like, is it adult fantasy, Y leaning? Is there a subgenre of fantasy that it is? Yeah, I would love to know more about it. I'm always on the lookout. I think we all suffer from not having enough books to read, and it's a real problem in the booktube community. So, whatever we can do to increase our increase our list, right? Inheritance Cycle and Sword of Truth series. Yeah, I've heard bad things about them, or that it didn't resonate with some people. I haven't checked those out yet, but there are people who swear by them. So that just goes to show how we can celebrate each other's reading tastes being different. And I always find, when we have these discussions on BookTube, oftentimes like we will get something out of them where we go, "Oh, I never thought of that series that way before." "Oh, I thought that I was very sold on my own opinion of it, but then you got me thinking about it in a different way. Or maybe I should try it again." And sometimes we read stuff at a time when we're not necessarily ready to read it, and it resonates differently. I think the same thing in music. I don't know if you all are the same, but I remember I first heard like Pink Floyd in ninth grade. Didn't quite gel with me. I was like more of a Sabbath fan at the time, Ozzy and Sabbath. And then somehow, I think it was like junior year, senior year, and it just clicked. And I was like, Dark Side of the Moon is the best album of all time. So I don't know. I think it's the same for books in a lot of ways. Sometimes art is very subjective because we are very subjective people. And as we grow, as we evolve, as time changes, we kind of change, right? And so our preferences change as well. I'd be curious to see those two series at some point as well. But let's see. Dark Adult Dark Academia. I haven't read too much Dark Academia actually. Maybe this is a good place to start. Um, but yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks for the recommendation. And I think someone said Dungeon Crawler Carl, of course. Yeah, I only put it down because I was on a couple read-alongs, and that's also one of the things about running a channel is like you go, yeah, I'll join that read-along. Oh, sure, I'll join this read along with 1,000-page books, and suddenly you're like, oh crap, I can't I can't finish the other thing I started. So, I wish we could either invent more hours in the day. I could get paid to read part time or something, or music projects didn't, take over my life sometimes, which I'm very grateful for, especially during this time in the industry. But sometimes you just want to curl up and read. I think that's what I'm gonna do for my birthday today. Actually, is like after the stream, Linda and I are gonna go down to Santa Monica and go to the Barnes and Noble there. I think there's like 50% off hardcovers or something. So check that out. Maybe buy a couple books and go to the beach and just chill, read for a few hours. I think that is in order. Try to start making a dent in that list. But Dungeon Crawler Carl's Leah, to your point, fantastic, fantastic series. The first book, from what I read, like 30% of it or something, loved it, loved it. And I'm not a big like lit RPG kind of person, but this was fantastic. I think this is one that even if you're not, it really resonates with like a broad cross section of people, right? Scrolling down here. Getting paid to read is the dream. Oh yeah, I mean, I think we all would do that if we could, right? Getting paid to read, maybe. You never know. In the states, if universal basic income comes through, maybe we can all take a few hours a day to just read some books. Um, let's see here. Michael Livingston. So this is the second time I've heard it. That author's name this week, actually. I have not I have not read any Michael Livingston. I didn't even know where to start, actually. Would you say Seaborn is a good place to start? Or is there a better starting point? I would love to know. Please tell me. Because I always feel like the universe provides. When you start to hear the same the same names over and over again, it's like, okay, it's about time to check out that book and that author. So I'm always down to be convinced one way or another which place to start. Um, okay. Seaborn is the first of a trilogy. That is very convenient. Maybe that is a good place to start. um, think I saw another comment here from Minari. Start with Wheel of Time Origins. I love the origin stuff. I was very impressed with. I think Raimi Park did a bunch of that, if I remember correctly. I think she wrote a bunch of that, and she also, of course, was the writer of the lyrics for The Hills of Tenshiko, which I wrote the music on. So it was amazing to collaborate with her, and she wrote some of the best episodes of the series as well, I think. So, and she's just a lovely person, like a really collaborative, awesome individual. So yay for Raimi Park. Let's see. He has two fantasy trilogies. Both are excellent. We have a Seaborn book club that will culminate in a Zoom on October 4th. Wow, that's cool. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. Yeah, I love book clubs that form around a particular series. That's just like a fun way to do it because also keeps you on track. You can kind of read one a month, or I don't know if you're reading it one a month, Leah, but I love that. I love that idea. And let's see. Are you seeing? I think I saw another comment here. Aha. Are you seeing any live music soon, Nikhil? Got Castle Rat and Alela Diane lined up in October. I actually haven't heard those artists, Francois. Are they heavy metal? Are they rock? Or yeah, I would love to know more about them. I don't think I have any concerts on the horizon right now, and I kind of am missing it. It's been a while since I've gone to a concert, actually. Um, God, where was the last one I even went to? I know I went to one like in the last couple years. But before that, I didn't go to one since 2019. And that one I saw Paul McCartney at Dodger Stadium. One of the best concerts of my life. The guy took like two sips of water and played a 3 hour show. Absurd. He's not of this world, I think. I really want to see Metallica eventually. I did get a chance to see Ozzy with Black Sabbath in 2014, which was amazing. I would have loved to see his solo stuff. Sadly, it was not to be. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Yeah, but there's always, there's so many artists out there that are like, man, some of my favorite artists are from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they're all getting, close to retirement if they haven't already retired. So I got some work cut out for me. I definitely want to see Pearl Jam one day. I think that would be a really fun concert to see. Um, yeah, I love rock concerts. There is I don't know if any of you are, this is really random by the way, but I don't know if any of you are into like Japanese funk, but there's a guy named Masayoshi Takanaka who was like the godfather of Japanese funk in the 70s. And he actually influenced, funny enough, a lot of video game scores. Like Koji Kondo, who wrote the Mario Brothers and Zelda and like a bunch of other Star Fox for Nintendo, and then Uematsu, who wrote the Final Fantasy music and all that, they were influenced by people like Koji Kondo. And if you hear that score, you can kind of hear it. But anyways, sorry, they were influenced by Takanaka. And Takanaka was here in LA, and I missed him. So I was like, damn it, I missed my chance. So yeah, I gotta go to more concerts. I don't know. That's a long-winded answer to say I need to see more live music, I think. Let's see. Historical books. Okay, so I need to check out some more historical books. I have fallen in love with the genre. I first read Shogun last year, and then I read a couple of Ken Follett Century Trilogy books, and James Michener's Alaska, and then most recently Devil in the White City about the Chicago World's Fair and the serial killer H. Holmes. God, I just love the genre. It is true sometimes that the truth is stranger than fiction, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm always on the lookout for more historical books. Maybe I'll check out some of those too. Mr. Goodcat says, I saw Queens of the Stone Age this weekend. Nice. How was that concert? I would love to know from you. I've never seen them actually live. Speaking of which, that reminds me. So I had spoken at Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con a couple weeks ago. I guess it was in July now, almost a month ago. And a friend of mine who is like a social influencer, she got me into the fandom party, which is like a very hard to get into party at Comic Con. And the All American Rejects played like a full show there. It was wild, but it brought me back to like 20 years ago, All American Rejects. But they put on a great show. I'd never seen them live, and it was really funny because it was in this courtyard area, and just surrounding the stage were basically the hotels. And so you see people like dancing in their windows and stuff, and like putting their like lighters up and stuff. It was really fun. Really special time. Okay, Castle Rat is Sabbath style fantasy doom metal with a female vocalist. Oh, I think you shared this in the Discord at one point, if I remember correctly. And I loved it. Yes, that's right. Oh, yeah, this is great. Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear how that show is. And folk singer, Alela Diane. Cool. I love folk music. Sounds like a great you got a great lineup there. Nice. Oh man, yeah. I would love to know, if you all have any Wheel of Time related questions, or I'm happy to share anything about working on the show as well. If you're curious, no worries. If not, we can keep talking about books. I'm here for you guys. I'm just excited to chat with you all. So whatever you want to chat about, any questions you may have, and if I missed your comment and you had a question, and somehow I didn't see it because I'm on this really terrible interface, which I'm gonna kind of figure out for the next time, but to make it a little bit more streamlined for you guys. So sorry about that. But if I missed your question, please feel free to repeat it because I don't always see it, but I would love to answer everything. So feel free to let me know. Oh, hey, thanks. Thanks for being here. Honestly, I really appreciate you all taking time out of your weekends to be here. What is everyone else's plan for the weekend? Anything cool? I feel like my weekend kind of went by really fast. Like I went to a friend's album release yesterday. It's a bunch of Recording Academy members, and I'm a Recording Academy member as well. And I just got word, you're actually hearing it here for the first time, that Sony has mentioned they're going to be submitting Hills of Tanchico for the Grammys this year. So that is very exciting. Still waiting on exactly when they've submitted it and all that, all that stuff. But looks like I'll be doing some campaigning for the Grammys this year, so that'll be fun. Um, Scrolling here. Oh, what character would I play in season 7? That's a great question, actually. God, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what season 7 would have in it. Because I forget, would it be books like I don't know what their plans were. Like, did it, because I think they had said 8 seasons or something. So would season 7 be, say, like up to book 12? Ah, I don't know. If so, I would love to see like the Matt story arc around that time. That would be very interesting. That would be really cool. If I was a witness on the ground, though, I would love to see Elida's story arc around that time. If you know, you know. I would love to observe that because that would be pretty sweet. I'm not going to say any more than that. Um, Ooh, what is a show or film you wish you could rework the soundtrack to? Okay, right away. Well, okay, this is hard to say because the film wasn't very good. But if I could work on a particular fantasy thing, it would be The Dark Tower. And, obviously the movie, I would love to rework the soundtrack to that because I feel like you could really go deep into the themes in a way that I don't feel like the soundtrack really did. Like, I mean, hey, Junkie XL is a great composer, but I really truly believe that, like, in order to score something like this, you need a deep, profound connection with the source material. Like, you need to understand the characters in a way that very few people do. Because otherwise, how can you write for them? It was a great score, but I don't know if it was a Dark Tower score. Does that make sense? So maybe if that was one that I wish I could have reworked the soundtrack to, maybe also the ill-fated Dresden Files series from like 2007 or something. That would be really fun. I have some ideas already percolating in my mind. I'm like, oh, and I think they are rebooting it. So hey, who knows? Maybe I'll get a chance to pitch one day. Wouldn't that be cool? Um, Mr. Goodcat says they are incredible live. That was the fourth time I've seen them, and I already can't wait for the next time. Oh, that's awesome! I'm so glad to hear that. I love seeing bands multiple times. I remember seeing Iron Maiden and Dio, if you know Dio, probably 3, 4 times, and it's great because every time it's very different. They're slightly different, you're slightly different. What they're playing is slightly different. It's great. It's really fun to see a band multiple times for sure. I'm just scrolling through. Oh, thanks for all the supportive comments, you guys. Hey, it's Tom. Tom, how are you, man? Good to see you, buddy. Great channel, by the way, for those of you who haven't checked out Tom Orange's channel. Definitely check it out. Good to see you, man. Heather, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I've just been getting to know some of the Recording Academy members, and I've known some of them for years, so it's nice, I can at least, like, I'm not just going around and like soliciting which I hate to do that kind of stuff. Like, I hate like just trying to oversell that stuff. So I would rather keep it just a natural connection with people. And so it's really great to get to know. And there's so many talented folks in that group. So it's a fun process to get to know talented musicians and composers. Um, Scrolling down here, seeing if I can find a question. Um, thank you so much. DK Moon. I danced for the weekend. Friday was a 2000s theme, and last night was an 80s theme. Wow, that sounds amazing. That is so cool. I love that. I miss dance parties like that, like with themes. I'd heard there's like a 70s disco type thing going on, not too far from where we live. So hopefully one day I'll get a chance to check that out. There is a really funny bar I got to tell you all about called Good Times at Davy Wayne's, which is in Hollywood, and so it's hilarious. So you go to the front of the bar. It's a nondescript building. It looks like those garages with the like little shutter up. So you walk into the garage. It's like this grimy garage, and there's like a refrigerator. You open the refrigerator door, and that's the entrance to this bar. And you go in, and it's set up like a suburban 1970s living room. I swear, like, and there's like a vinyl player and everything, and like and you're just like partying in this like 1970s living room while like 70s music is playing, and they had a David Bowie tribute band there when I was there. It's fantastic, man. It's just great. Leah, I had a cat literally walk into my apartment yesterday, but I'm kid sitting for a friend, so need to go home and settle my clouder. Lots of kitty cuddles are planned for this afternoon. That sounds like a wonderful time. I always love the kitty cuddles. I feel like sometimes they are both a welcome distraction and just a pure distraction, because like every hour or so I'm sitting at the piano working on something, I'll be like, I wonder what the cats are up to, you know? I don't think they've been cuddled for an hour. I think they could use some kitty cuddles. So if you know, you know. Yeah, I'm assuming you're referencing the Elida reference, which, oh yeah, I that's one of my favorite arcs, and the way it kind of the way it goes to Gathering Storm, I think, really great. I was hoping season 7 would end right before TLB. Ah, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. It would be amazing if one day Rafe could reveal his plans for the rest of the season, like if he had had his dream way. Because I get the feeling that some of the decisions that people found contentious about the show weren't always in Rafe's hands. I think like streamers have a lot of power, obviously, in these final decisions, and sometimes executives will have a different vision for a show than even the showrunner, and the showrunner is still at the mercy of the head honchos, right? So yeah, I'm curious. I would love to know, like, if he had his kind of dream lineup of how the seasons would go, what that would be. And maybe he's posted that somewhere. I'm not really sure. Um, Thomas Howell, thank you so much, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. How are you? Again, another fantastic channel for those of you who haven't checked him out. He is like the one of the chillest people on BookTube. Like, I love the way he talks about coffee, about books, about taking your time, about reading slowly, and he just brings a calm presence to BookTube. So, and a fantastic guy as well. Are you treating yourself to any books today? So yeah, actually, funny you mentioned that. I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble after this, and I think they have like 50% off hardcovers. I want to check out. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna get yet, but I'm looking to maybe purchase my first Ian M. Banks novel, which Sam Not So Wise, if he ever sees this, he will be very happy to hear that, because he's been trying to get me to read The Algebraist for ages now. And I made a solemn commitment. I will get to it. So I think that would be one I would want to buy if I could. I don't know what else I would get. I think I'll just kind of walk around and see what strikes my fancy. I think if I could find a Ronald Malfi book, I would love to find like Blackmouth. I've heard that's a good place to start, and I wanted to read that during spooky season in October. So I don't know if I see that. I'll check it out. But let me know. I mean, hey, any recommendations of things I should get that I should, just maybe I'll just walk out with the store. Who knows? Rain and Ruidian says, I love the Dresden Files. That would be amazing. Yeah. Oh man, I just feel like it's perfect for television too. You could have the mystery of the week, but then you could have this overarching storyline. The stakes get bigger, the world gets bigger. I don't know if you all are caught up on the Dresden Files, but I finished 7 books, so I'm gonna start Proven Guilty in October. And I'm so excited to dive back in, because for those of you who haven't read it, it's about like a wizard who lives in Chicago, very urban fantasy, kind of private detective slash wizard. And yeah, the story starts off a little pulpy and becomes like an epic fantasy. And I just feel like the series keeps getting better. So I'm excited to see. And I feel like it's a palate cleanser. Like, you can jump in and out of it, and you don't lose too much. You don't need to binge it, but you can. It's bingeable. So that's my understanding, at least. Let's see. I enjoyed Dresden TV because I watched it before reading the series. Oh, interesting. Lots of readers didn't like the show. Yeah, I'm always fascinated by that too. I think Wheel of Time purists, people who are like books or bust, the ones who are like any changes from the books are bad changes. They obviously did not like the show, or a bunch of them didn't like the show when it came out, because they were so tied to the books. There's plenty of people who watched the show who hadn't read the books that were like, "Hey, I love this," and then maybe gives them a chance to read the books. It's always interesting to see the order. I personally love reading before I watch the thing, but then you end up in the comparison trap. It's kind of always the case, isn't it? So there's very few where it's like, oh, this kind of added to the books, you know. Um, I wish there's a great example, and now I can't even think of it, as is often the case. I think Silo on Apple TV was a good maybe a good case for that. Like I loved Wool by Hugh Howey, which is what Silo is based on, but I think the show added something interesting to it. So that was really cool. Even the Wheel of Time, like I think certain characters were more fleshed out in the show, actually. Leandrin is the classic case example. You know, very small, minor role in the books, but then she has a whole backstory that's very compelling, actually, in the series. Mogedion, I feel like, was more terrifying in the series than even in the books. I don't know. That's my personal take. But I could ramble about adaptations all the time, of course. Amethyst says it's a bank holiday weekend here. Wow, nice. There's a big market on Monday in my town, so I'm probably gonna go take a look. They often have secondhand books. Oh, that is awesome. So I love going to secondhand bookstores, library book sales. You know, I think like 70% of my book collection, of which there's a lot. Like you see some in the back here, but those are all Stephen King. And then out there, I have like six different shelves that are like 6 feet tall each, with full to the brim of books. And yeah, 70% of my collection I get at book outlet or thrift books or library book sales or used bookstores, and it's just so much fun because you never know what you're going to find. Sometimes you find really cool first editions, and they're so cheap, you know. great way to Great way to find really good reads without breaking the bank. Oh, I see the slipping. Let's see. Leah says, "Oh my God, reading Dresden for the first time now. Would love to see a well done show based on these books." Yeah, I think I remember Jim Butcher announced it in like 2019, 2020, and then it was on IMDb for the longest time. I think I see little activity there once every year or so, but not very much happening. I think it's a weird time for the industry too because fantasy had a resurgence with Game of Thrones, and everyone wanted to find the next Game of Thrones. They're putting all this money into fantasy adaptations. Everything's getting optioned like crazy, right? Even books are getting optioned before they come out. Then the pandemic happens, people are overhiring, and then the industry contraction happens, and then a bunch of people are getting let go at various big studios. The studios are making less. They're being more cautious about what they invest in. The things that they were like championing are suddenly like cooling off, right? So stopping midway through, getting in development hell. And then writers have not worked for like 2 years because of the writer's strike and the aftermath of that. It's all politics and kind of BS stuff that keeps us from enjoying the shows we love. So here's hoping there will be another resurgence and we will get Dresden TV at some point soon because we need it. Do you like sci-fi fantasy like Dune? I love Dune, but I've only read the first book. I really want to read the future entries for sure. So that is definitely something I want to do at some point. I just haven't gotten a chance to dive in. I've heard after God Emperor of Dune, I think it's the fourth book, it starts to get a little weird, but I kind of like weird, so maybe I'll like it. I don't know. But yeah, let me know if you think it's worth uh, progressing further than that fourth book. Hey, Samoki dude, thank you so much, man. Good to see you here. Hearing Dio's name, now I have Rainbow in the Dark in my head. We'll likely have to listen to that after the stream. So for those of you who don't know, Dio is one of the greatest singers of all time. So there you go. He started in 1957 with a single, "An Angel Is Missing" or something, and he, sounded like a 50s crooner. And then the late 60s, he joins this like hard rock blues band called Elf. Then in the 70s, he meets a guy named Richie Blackmore, who was the guitarist of Deep Purple. Smoke on the Water, if you all have heard of that. And they're standing at the Rainbow Bar and Grill drinking. They're like, we should form a band. What should we call it? Let's call it Rainbow. And Rainbow was like a fantasy Dungeons and Dragons meets rock outfit from the 70s. Then he joined Black Sabbath after Ozzy left. Then he did his solo thing. He has had a storied career. He is one of the best. Truly, truly a singer, you know. And interestingly enough, he played the French horn, which is one of the reasons why he had such great lung capacity and why his voice is so powerful. I would love a good Dresden TV show. Poco will never die. Absolutely. Oh, The Who. Okay, you're actually learning how to throat sing? That is the coolest thing in the world. Oh my God. I would love to hear that someday. I feel like throat singing is voodoo magic to me. And The Who, I got very excited because that is Linda, my wife's one of her favorite bands. And so we actually saw them live in Anaheim, I think. And so we drove like an hour, hour and a half, and they put on a great show. They really did. I forget the name of the venue we saw them at, but it was big enough that a lot of people could come, but it was also small enough that you felt like it was an intimate venue. So it was a really nice balance, actually. Sound was great, and crowd was great, and we all had a blast. So The Who, yeah. So I remember when I first heard about them, I thought they were talking about the 60s 70s rock band The Who, which is one of my favorites. But of course, the Mongolian throat singing metal band The Who. I like that play on spelling there. Hey, Nev's book channel. Hey, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the wishes. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, to Dresden Files show. That club sounds amazing. Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. Yeah. Love disco. I'm quite behind on messages, I think. Let's see. I saw a post somewhere that said there are two different types of silence. You know what this means if you have cats? That's pretty good, actually. Yep. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. It's one of those, it's quiet, too quiet, you know. Gathering Storm, such a good book. Yep. Sando struggled with Matt, but wrote Egwene great. I completely agree. And I think Sanderson has even come out on record to say the same thing. But man, I mean, I could just imagine the amount of pressure he was under. He did Mistborn, which is phenomenal. And then he revered the Wheel of Time series. He would talk about how he would read every time a new entry came out, he'd read all the other ones in anticipation of it. And so, the ones that came before. So he was a mega fan. And then getting to write finish the series that he loved so much, I can just imagine the pressure, but he did such a good job, all things considered. I love those last three books. I think they're some of my favorite Wheel of Time moments for sure. And of course, Robert Jordan did the outline, so credit where credit's due there. Absolutely. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for the wishes. Philip, Dr. Fantasy himself. Thank you so much, man. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Philip Chase is the author of the amazing Idan trilogy. If you haven't checked it out and are looking for a good fantasy trilogy read, I absolutely implore you to check it out. He has a new book out called While Darkness Gathers as well, which takes place like 16 years after. And they are just fantastic, beautifully written, got some kind of Eastern philosophical references to it. Really great stuff. But we got a chance to collaborate together actually because Philip commissioned me to write an official theme for the Adan trilogy, a music theme that would play in his videos and for his upcoming releases and things in the Idan verse, as I like to call it. So, yeah, Philip is just a stand-up guy, an amazing beacon in this community. Of course, I'm sure a lot of you know, if not all of you. And yeah, just a wonderful writer and collaborator and everything. So one day I will come to the East Coast and hopefully we will meet in person. That is one of my bucket list things. Book two bucket list things. Yeah, a lot of my personal issues with the show Wheel of Time could be fixed with one more episode per season. I agree, even a couple, like, some of the stuff was just rushed. I think if you think about season 1 episode 8, that is the perfect example. If they had had that over 3 episodes, it could have been epic, you know. And some of those deaths or seemingly deaths could be would feel a bit more earned. They wouldn't come out of left field, you know. I think that's the case with a lot of the stuff. I know Rafe Judkins wanted to make it like 10 to 12 episodes per season, right? So he got 2 to 4 less than he wanted, and that has a huge impact on books as complex as these. I mean, 2,800 characters, right? Sherbet Mango says, "Who are your favorite Wheel of Time characters?" That's a really hard one. Okay, so Egwene is one of my favorites. I think her arc from book 1 to 14 is freaking spectacular. Her role in book 14, I think, is one of my favorite roles in any character. Nynaeve is interesting because the first few books she totally grated on me, but I just love her arc. Matt will always be a favorite because I just love his personality. I think those would be my three if I could choose three. How could one choose one? I don't know, but I would love to hear your favorite as well. Yeah, Barnes and Noble was great. I mean, I remember when in the '90s, early 2000s, when they were like super corporate and it just felt very kind of clinical and not a fun experience. And then I was reading an article about how the CEO, when the new CEO came in like 10 years ago or something, or 12 years ago, he basically relinquished all control of the individual branding of the stores to the stores, and we're like, hey, let's have like a store recommendation thing. So basically it would feel like an independent bookstore or a chain of independent bookstores. And it made a huge difference in the reading experience and the people who go there. There's just a communal feel to Barnes and Noble that wasn't the case always. So it's fun. I wish there were more independent bookstores close by that we could go to. There's one. Oh, you all would love this. So there's one called the Iliad, which is in North Hollywood, so like 15 minutes away from where we live, and it is a massive independent bookstore. Always find good stuff there, and they have two shop cats, Apollo and Zeus. So come on, I mean that's pretty great. They're just like wandering around, getting cuddles from all the patrons there. So really fun place. Thomas says, "Be Barnes and Noble on your birthday is one of the greatest things. Hope you have a blast." Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm very excited. Honestly, like bookstores are like our thing, very much for Linda and I. I remember when I proposed to her, and we had a reservation at a restaurant planned, and it was like a couple hours later, and I was like, oh man, I didn't realize all this would, like, the timing of it was kind of weird, and I was like, what should we do between now and then? She was like, you want to go to Barnes and Noble? So we spent that first hour in post proposal bliss at Barnes and Noble, actually, and I got a few books, she got a few books. It was kind of nice. One of them was Robert McCammon's Swan Song, which is one of the best books I've ever read, so it was nice to have a memory tied to that core memory. I accidentally scrolled a little. Sorry about that. I'm gonna scroll back up here. Um, just give me 1 second so that I could catch some. Oh crap! This interface sucks, by the way. Yeah, I'm gonna change this next time. I will probably have missed some, but I will try my best. I promise you. Please don't hate me. Um, let's start from here and hope for the best. DK Moon says, I like God Emperor the best. Read 2 or 3 past that. They were okay. Yeah, I think it was Brian Herbert, was it? Who took over for Frank Herbert once he passed. And a lot of people say they're not as good. Dune is great until book four. It just starts a second unfinished arc that rehashes a lot of the earlier stuff. Ah, okay, okay. Good to know. Maybe I'll probably go to four and then see how I feel. You know. Oh, I used to have Blackmore's Night in the background for reading fantasy. That is actually a great choice for reading fantasy. I think I should try that. Thank you for the recommendation. Blackmore's Night, for those of you who don't know, is very fantasy inspired music, kind of almost like a troubadour would write or something. And this was Richie Blackmore that I mentioned earlier that used to play in this band with Dio, Rainbow, which was more of a rock band. And he decided to kind of shed his rock roots and kind of go into more of the Celtic and kind of troubadour inspired music, which is great in its own right. Hey, Ray, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the wishes. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Man, it's so nice to see so many familiar faces, new faces. It's just so cool. I just listened to The Who yesterday from a recommendation. Good stuff. Yeah, it's very hypnotic, kind of music. Very groove oriented. It's great. Rain and Ruidian says, I also liked Ender's Game. Ah, right. I do have the first couple of Ender's Game books, actually. I should check that out. Adding it to the list. I'm thinking I want to read more sci-fi next year. Sun Eater wraps, obviously in November, and I'm going to be looking for more sci-fi series. Maybe this is one to start. I do have them on my shelf after all. Oh, Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems, another fantastic channel. Thank you so much for the wishes, buddy. He focuses a lot on the horror and the dark and the strange, and yeah, I just love his channel and a fabulous human. We're actually reading the Matthew Corbett series right now by Robert McCammon, historical fiction horror set in like the early 1700s, about a private investigator kind of person. And he was like one of the first. He called himself a problem solver, right? It's like prototypical of what a private investigator would be. Hey, thanks so much for popping by. I really appreciate you being here. So nice to see you. Thanks for the wishes. Um, That's the other book I've been wanting to get. Okay, I might add that to the list to go check out at Barnes and Noble. Thanks, Heather. I appreciate you reminding me because sometimes, how people have a shopping list. I should probably have a shopping list when I go today, right? But the Will of the Many is definitely on it. I have not read any Islington yet. I did have the first book of the Licanius trilogy, The Shadow of What Was Lost, I think is what it's called, and I haven't read that either. Do you think the Will of the Many is better? I would love to know. Yeah. But that's definitely one I want to read, so maybe I'll go check it out today when I go. Nikhil, I still listen to Blessed Be the Eternal almost every day. Wow, man. Such a fantastic song you composed. I look forward to meeting you in person. That is like the highest praise, man. I mean, I know how near and dear to your heart the Edan verse is and how much time and love you've put into that series. So to hear you say that means the world, man. I mean, it's like the ultimate compliment. And it's a testament to like getting to work with you. You let me take ideas and run with it, and you were so collaborative. I mean, it's just such a blast. So I'm such a fan of yours, man. I really am. And yeah, I one day we will meet in person. I can guarantee that will happen. And if you're never in LA and you want the grand tour, you know where to turn. Every time you say, I think of when I first heard it years ago, but it stands for Everyone Deserves a Name. Huh. It's a thing by finding names for Jane or John Does with no names. I did not know that, actually. That's pretty funny. Wow. Tom Orange says Rand is my favorite. Hey, that's a great choice. And Rand has a fantastic arc too. Oh my god, like there's a period, I'm not going to say any spoilers obviously for the series, but there's a period where you kind of wonder where his arc is going to go, and then just the way it just kind of, oh man, it's just fantastic, especially in those last 3 books. Oh my god. Or last 4, I think, starting with Knife of Dreams. Whew, great stuff. Brand was almost my favorite as well. Oh, Jake, I'd love to know who ended up being the favorite on the list. Maybe you put it here. Tom has good taste. Yep. Oh yeah. Let's see. Sherbet Mango says, "What are your top 10 favorite books?" That is so tough to say, you know? Can I add series in that? Okay, let's try it this way. If I could only choose one book from a series, let's try it that way. Can I not rank them? Because I think I would have a hard time ranking them here at this moment. But I'll give you 10. How about that? So I would probably say Boy's Life and Swan Song, both by Robert McCammon, because they are just masterpieces. 11/22/63 by Stephen King. Um, The Wastelands, book 3 of the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. As you could tell, I'm a King and McCammon fan. Um, Shogun by James Clavell. That's 5. The Fall of Giants, book 1 of the Century trilogy by Ken Follett. I mean, I think this book is deserves way more attention than it gets. It's about 5 families across 100 years of world history, and that first book has some of the best characterizations I've ever read. Um, it's called like Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. Fantastic sci-fi novel. Oh my God, it's amazing. 1984 by George Orwell. Still holds up to this day. I have 2 more choices. What am I going to choose? This is tough, you guys. This is really tough. Okay, well, I got to choose a Wheel of Time book. Okay, so this one is going to be interesting. This is the one that cemented my love of the series, made me write a orchestral theme that ended up being be seen by Lauren Balfe, and then the rest is kind of history in terms of my work on the show. And that was book 2, The Great Hunt, and specifically that Fall May sequence, the last third of the book. I literally felt like my mind was expanding while I was reading it. Like I couldn't breathe properly. I was like sweating while I was reading. It was amazing experience. And then a final book. Oh, I don't know, you guys. This is hard. Maybe maybe this is hard. Okay, I'm gonna try to say maybe like, only because this was very formative for me. Maybe the Deathly Hallows, the final book of the Harry Potter series. There are a couple reasons for that. One, I went to the midnight release to Barnes and Noble, and there was a line around the block, and we were all standing there at midnight to get a book. I mean, that was like a cultural moment. And then I also felt like that book was relentless. It's so dark. It would be an rated R film if it was done, exactly like how the book describe some of the stuff that happens, and it feels like these people can't catch a break. Like, how's this going to end? Like, what's going to happen? I thought it was very well done. So maybe that might be one that I throw in for good measure. I'll probably think of more after this video, but yeah, that's where I'm at for now. Just scrolling down. The Iliad is a cool name for a bookstore. Oh yeah, and then having Zeus and Apollo as the cats. Like, come on, that's amazing. DK Moon says, I need some used bookstores. Yeah, books have gotten very expensive. Yeah, just like everything else. Absolutely. I mean, you're seeing hardcovers going for pre-orders sales that are $35, right? So, now they're going for 40, especially anticipated releases and things. So I do find that, it's like, who cares if it's a slightly worn book? Like, I love my special editions. I love the broken binding, of course, but sometimes it's nice to have that 80s cover that's slightly dilapidated for a good price. I mean, the library book sale here, I get my hardcovers for $1 and the trade paperbacks for 50 cents, and oftentimes they are uh even almost as mint condition. So it's literally like getting a book for dirt cheap. I paused there for a second because I thought of another one for that top 10 list. If I was to take away the Harry Potter one from that list, I would have to say Storm of Swords by George R. R. Martin. That book, I mean, I'd seen the series already by this point, so I knew what to expect. I knew about Red Wedding. I knew about all the main stuff, but the book hit so hard. Oh my God, he's just And it was at that point I truly understood why people were so pissed that the newest entry hasn't come out yet. But yeah, that might be the one that takes the cake there. Let's see. I think I'm getting close to the bottom here, but let me see. Hold on one second. I'm just scrolling back up. Sorry, you guys. I promise you I'll get this better next time. Heather says, I've not read any other Islington books yet, but I sure enjoyed Will of the Many. Cool. Well, that's great to hear. I'll definitely check it out. I have heard really good things about it, and I think the sequel, Strength of the Few, is coming out soon as well. Um, love how it connects to Swan Song. Oh, yeah. You know, if I can't shoehorn books in every little life decision, then what's life all about, right? Maybe your favorite books are on your bookshelf behind you. Definitely some of them. I actually just ended up making so Stephen King is like my favorite author of all time. And so I just ended up making the shelf dedicated to Stephen King. So they're all Stephen King books, but I do have a lot of favorites in other genres and other authors as well. It's just like Stephen King, he's so prolific and so many of his books are amazing. So yeah. Stephen King fan, constant reader through and through. Mac says, "Oh, have you seen the Last Kingdom TV show? I have not seen it yet. I want to see it, but I wanted to wait until I read The Last Kingdom, the book by Bernard Cornwell. I definitely want to read that soon. So I will keep you posted when I get a chance to. Maybe I should do a side by side comparison. What do you all think about that? Would that be cool? I've been thinking about doing more adaptation related stuff just because I can speak from experience, on what makes a good adaptation, what makes a not so good adaptation. And I thought maybe that could be kind of a unique thing that I could provide for BookTube is a side by side comparison of, read the book, watch the thing, make a video. I don't know. That could be kind of cool. Jake, thank you so much, man, and thanks for taking some time away from work to come by on the channel, man. It's really good to see you, and it's always great to chat with you, buddy. Um, as usual, this thing is glitching out. Um, here we go. All right, I'm getting closer here. Bernard Cornwell, The Last Kingdom series are awesome books. Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. And it's great to hear that the show is close to the books. That is very heartening to hear that when a showrunner or somebody who's developing a series goes, "Hey, the author was really good. There's a reason why people love those books. Let's try to do it justice." It's awesome. Leah says in DC, the free little library houses are prolific. Oh yeah. Oh, that's really cool. I haven't been to DC in ages. I miss it. I did an internship at the Treasury in college. So I lived there for 5 months around Scott Circle, like Northwest Quadrant, about 6 blocks away from the White House. And obviously, free little libraries weren't there at that time, but now they're popping up all over. There's a few around my area. I love going and checking them out and putting a book in for good measure. That is always really fun. Yeah. Hmm, let's see here. If you want matching books for Islington, go for the special edition, and the first as second matches that one. No matching cover for the first edition. Oh, interesting. Wonder why they did it that way. That's good to know. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I will probably get that one then. That's great. Heather says, I would love to hear your thoughts on adaptations. Okay, great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Because I can talk about not only the adaptation itself and kind of like what makes a good adaptation, but also the road to get there. Because you know how sometimes like you hear great announcements of stuff and then nothing, crickets, right? And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. and I can maybe shed some light on that as well. So yeah, more of that will come through for sure. Thanks. Oh, Joanna, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. And happy birthday to you too. Joanna, fantastic channel, fantastic human being. And her birthday was yesterday. So yeah. I hope you had a great birthday yesterday and that you got a chance to get some good books or read some good books and have a good birthday weekend, fellow birthday twin. Ooh, I'll be reading Enemy of God Book 2 in the Warlord Chronicles very soon. That is awesome, Philip. I look forward to hearing what you think. I think you liked Last Kingdom, right? Or no, oh, that's Last Kingdom was Last Kingdom series maybe. I always get confused of which is oh, it's the Saxon stories, I think, right? And then the Warlord Chronicles are different. I always forget how that works. But that's awesome, man. I hope you enjoy it. Um, let's see here. Sorry, you guys. Lots of name days, yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. I love that. I think, excuse me. I think in a time when people are supposedly like, literacy rates are down, people are reading less than ever before, but the community has never been stronger. And places that kind of provide that community to each other, helping people discover great reads that they wouldn't always come across. I think it's just wonderful. I think that's the way it should be. So I'm very happy to hear that. Awesome. Hey, thank you. It's great to see you here. I really appreciate you being here. Oh man, it is so much fun hanging out with you all. I think I might start to, unless you all have any other questions, Wheel of Time or otherwise, I might start to head out to the beach and maybe check out some books as well for good measure. Um, But I just want to say, like, I'm I so appreciate you all being here, and taking the time out of your weekend to like wish me happy birthday and just like hang out, chat about books. Like, I miss doing these live streams. I haven't done them for a while, and I kind of want to do more because I miss you all. And it's one of my favorite parts of the booktube is getting to chat with you all. So thank you for being here. Thank you for yeah, just always having such great recommendations and just being such a positive force in my life and so many lives. So the community is nothing without you all, and I'm just grateful for you all. So thank you for being here. Nick here with Shelf-Esteem, and I hope you had a good time, and I hope you have a fabulous Sunday, rest of your weekend. Savor it, enjoy it to the full, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. I'll have 3 videos for you next week. So definitely get ready for those. I think on Tuesday, probably reading roundup, and then a couple on Thursday and then Saturday. So love you all so much and so grateful for you. All right. So take care. Have a great one. And I will see you next time. Bye. Bye all.